is worship. The Lord told us that they that worship must worship in spirit and in truth. Of course, I just want to talk for a minute about what worship is. And being truthful is a part of worship. And to interject a dream that I had about worship. In the dream, I was standing next to Christ, and I was in heaven. And I was so overwhelmed, so emotional, that I could hardly gain my composure. And I was crying and on my knees. I couldn't even stand up. And of course, that is a very intense worship. And just hanging on to Jesus, you know. So, what most of the world worships in a different way, of not so intense, but it's still worship. Excuse me, allergy. When we honor God with our actions, that's worship. When we do something selfless to honor another in admiration, that's worship. People worship each other, you know, and in a smaller fashion. But when we worship God, it's as God. That's the highest honor that man has the ability to pay God. Just think about it for a minute. What can you give to God? What can you pay Him back? What can you promise Him? You know, God already owns it all. The only thing that you really have that you can give to God is yourself. That's it. Give to Him your heart. Otherwise, you'll be taken away from Him. You say, "Well, I'll just do that. I don't like God anyway. I just won't worship Him. I'll just fix Him. I'll take myself away from Him." Yeah, but my friend, I don't know if you want to pay the price of exactly what that means. Because in order to be away from God means that hell is going to be your home. So, and hell is a place of torment. It's a place of burning. The book of Revelation says the smokers of torment went up forever and ever. It means that it never ends. Never ends. And Jesus sort of indicated that as well. And you might be thinking, well, why am I getting off onto hell? Well, because worship is a part of who we are, and hell is a part of the future of those who don't. You know, and it's not because it's a forced thing, but when you love something, you automatically move into the area of worship. You know, how many men would have a wife that they would not admire? My wife is the prettiest woman I know, because I love my wife. Is there other good-looking women out there? Yeah, but they don't mount up to what my wife is, you know, because I love her. And that's a type of worship. And if your wife is not the prettiest thing you've ever seen, then fellas, let me tell you something, you're letting her down. you're letting yourself down. Get with the worship thing, you know. Start admiring your wife more, and start doing that thing which is natural between two people that love each other, and admiration and between one another. And so that's what I'm talking about. If you love God, you automatically slip into that place of worship. It's not that you'll go to hell if you don't, you know. Even though that does take place, you know. Well, just like if you don't love your wife, you're going to get divorced, you know. Same deal. Same deal. You know, it's kind of funny how, to me, it's kind of funny, ironic funny, that people say, "Oh, this God, God's going to do this and do that, and you're going to throw me into hell if I don't worship Him." They're not even thinking right, you know. Sometimes I wonder why I waste my time even talking about that, because, see, those folks, it's not that those folks don't understand. They don't want to understand. They don't want this God, this purity, being of purity. They don't want Him intruding into their sinful nature. Well, only the sick need a physician. Only the sick who know they're sick need a physician. That's all you have to say about that. Amen. But let me tell you something. If you really love the Lord and He stands in your presence, you'll have no problem with worship. Believe me, you really won't. It just comes automatic. Okay? God bless. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you again next time, right here with another great subject, Crossing the Middle Ministry.